The world is changing fast. By staying curious and remaining confident in ourselves, we can learn new skills, tackle new challenges, and achieve great things to make a difference in the world. I am Regina Larco, and you're listening to #Impact, a podcast about stuff that matters. Today, you hear from a curious, passionate, and beautiful mind who found her way from Nepal to Germany, a woman who constantly explores and challenges herself to give back and grow her own expertise and impact. Join our nourishing community at #impact.com/club if you want to get your voice heard too. Amrita Gautam is a civil engineer from Nepal, currently pursuing her doctoral research at Technical University of Cologne, Germany. She worked with various United Nations organizations and research projects in Nepal, Germany, Mozambique, Brazil, Canada, and USA. As a young water professional, Amrita has been involved in World Youth Parliament for Water, International Water Association, and she is the president of Soroptimist International, Köln, Columba. She was awarded with Women with Vision 2018, received Soroptimist International of Europe Scholarship Award in 2019, and got selected as Ambassador of Rising Smart Water Professionals in 2021. Alongside her ongoing doctoral research, she has also founded a research initiative called Drink Pani. I hope I pronounced this correctly now, Amrita, okay. Which believes in shaping digital water future and is now doing an internship at Global Water Operators Partnerships Alliance. You and Habitat Bond. Oh my God, Amrita! I'm like blown away just by all the things you. Look, I can't even say it. Welcome to #Impact Podcast.
Thank you so much, Regina. Actually, though we've been doing it officially now, I feel that we both have got so much in common. We believe in our work, and for that, we both enjoy exploring the things in the world out there. Whatever it comes, we want to utilize our knowledge and expertise and a curiosity at our best, especially because we are the human beings. We cannot be perfect, but we tend to learn things. We tend to exercise that in our daily lives or professional lives. And yeah, as I always tell, giving back to society, giving back to the community where we are from, and how we can make impact. The #impact. Yeah, exactly. In our lives, actually, when we are doing something for our personal goals or professional goals, anything that we are targeting, it always takes it something. If we are doing for the community, for the people, for the nature, it gives us immense pleasure that we cannot even compare to anything that we earn or like as a monetary value or for the position or for anything, because that's something so special that I have been living through many times, especially doing volunteering works. Yes.
And you know what you just proved to me is that, when I'm reading your bio and your CV, or anyone's bio and CV, it's what you bring in it with your voice as you explain what you're doing is what really matters, right? So thank you for doing that. And I actually wanna kick off with a quote, and I just wanna see if you recognize what I'm saying here now, if that quote seems familiar to you. Mm-hmm. In the eyes of a flower, the world appears as a flower. In the eyes of a thorn, the world appears as a thorn. Yeah. This is a quote from a song.
Yes, I can totally. Yeah, that's a song I hear again and again, and whenever I feel joy, whenever I feel some kind of anxiety or some kind of motivation that I need, because that's so beautiful, because it tells to the core that nothing is permanent. Everything is how we take it, and so everything looks beautiful if we have that perspective, if we can look through our eyes or heart. I mean, eyes are the mirror of the heart. Whatever we we feel at hurt, it comes to our eyes, and then that's beautiful. That's how we can perceive the world. So if we think the world is beautiful, the world is actually beautiful. So it's all about how we think, how we see, how do we want to bring how do we want to bring it out from our life, and for the things that we actually believe in.
It's a song that you shared with me because it motivates you. We always ask that our guests beforehand. Let's give the listeners a little peek behind the scenes. So before coming on #Impact, we make our guests do a lot of homework,
Yeah.
right? Well, we hope that it's inspirational to our guests as well, because we want to invite our guests beforehand as well to reflect on what motivates them, what inspires them. And this song came up, and what I loved about it was that thank you so much for sharing a version of this song that is in your language, right? So
Yes.
I couldn't understand the original like text, but you gave it to me in a version where I could read the English translation.
Yes.
How do you say that in your language?
So if I say the first line, फुलको आँखामा फुलै संसार, काँडाको आँखामा काँडै संसार. That means that in the eyes of flower, the world is flower. In the eyes of thorn, the world is thorn. It's all about how we want to bring it out, the way we perceive things. And the original person who actually sang the song, her name is Annie Choing Dolma, and if you know her already, or if you research about her, she's one of the legend personalities in the context of Nepal. And I proudly say that she is one of the legendary personalities in the world. She is also UNICEF ambassador, as far as I know, since some years, and she brings this voice out with her songs, and she is doing tremendous works to empower girls and the special community that she belongs to. And she especially advocates for the education of children and girls. And you already know about my intention, my vision for life as well. Being a woman, being a young professional woman, I always feel that what sort of challenges we suffer each single day in our personal life, professional life, organizational life, wherever we go, whatever we tend to do. So it always connects us to the stories of girls, women who are thriving in their lives, and actually someone who is trying to bring change in the society for the education of girls, and but actually for the education of children. It touches my heart so much, because children are the future, and children will become somebody who can actually drive this world. So they are children now, but if we can give them right education, if we can teach them right things, because children are so innocent, they are so pure. So we need to teach them the things they can actually evaluate from their own eyes, not just being carried away, but they can actually think what's right, what's wrong for them, and what's right and wrong for the world, for the community. So that's how we can actually build our future. And normally I always try to connect these things to build our future from my own personal goals in advocating the education of girls, the education of children as a whole. And also when I talk about water, when I talk about climate action, climate resilience and adaptation, like especially the things that I really value in my professional work. So these are the things I always take along with me.
Take me back to Nepal, Amrita. How was it for you growing up? How was that little girl Amrita experiencing her world?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can see that this smile and this laugh that comes from my heart when I always think about my country, Nepal. This is the fact. To be so honest, when I was in Nepal, I never thought that way, that I am Amrita Gautam, I am a Nepali person, because it is a natural thing, right? To be a Nepali, to feel Nepali, because in Nepal nobody tell you are a Nepali, like you're from Nepal or you're a Nepali person. So that was so taken for granted. But when I came to Germany, then I started to think more about that. I started to value more about my originality. I started to value how beautiful my country is, how beautiful people back there. And I always try to connect the things that I do here as well. Like if I get some networking, that if I get to tell something about the resources that we have in Nepal, or any technology transfer that we want to do from any part of the world to Nepal, or anything that can be transferred from Nepal to other parts of the world. Because I do believe, though Nepal is a developing country, we've got so much of resources, we've got so much to learn from there, from the people, from the way of living, from the indigenous community, for even our indigenous communities, though they do not have that very sophisticated training, modern technologies training, they do have natural values of way of living. That are the core values that one can actually transfer to utilize different technological aspects and different values of science and scientific community. That's why these days we talk about the experiences of indigenous community a lot, and also the experiences of our ancestral intelligence, because there are so much to learn. And also about the Sanskrit language right now, I value each single day more, because we were given that language in our school. Can you imagine? At that time, I was so lazy to learn that language. I was so, I was thinking, why do we need to learn this? Because though we were not given the whole entire higher level of education of Sanskrit, because it was just part of our initial education. I think because it's not easy to teach. It's not easy as well. I feel now, because now when I want to recall all those learnings that I have, I can only recall few words, few sentences. So, but yeah, that's a very valuable part of the language history. I think wherever in the world nowadays, we also hear that in the western side, or even in the eastern, wherever in the world, like southern, northern, like Sanskrit is the language in the basis. And then I'm proud to be a Nepali. I'm proud to have known that value in the foundation. So there are so much. There is so much, and there are so many things that I can think, I can rejoice, I can feel that that's so connected um, as a person that I feel. And I feel that that's a reason who I am right now. That's a reason how I think. That's a reason how I want to do. That's a reason why did I choose certain things. I can relate so many things, because that's a core value I'm brought up. Like that's a core value with the things that my parents, my immediate family members, or the natural community, or the neighborhood, or all those natural ecosystem that is somehow inherited inside me since my birth, since my childhood, since my upbringing. I got my graduation initial the foundational education in my Bachelor of Engineering, also in Nepal. So I have got so much a foundation from my country that I can always look back, that I can always trace out the values, and I can always connect for the things that I can say to the people around the world, that if you have that interest, if you want to know more about Nepal, if you want to know more about what a Nepali community can offer, or Nepali resource, there is resources in Nepal that can actually be benefited. I'm always there to tell. And actually at times it's interesting to tell here. At times it really fascinated me to hear my colleagues when they told me the things that I never know, because this is a point where I laugh at times to myself, because we tend to take things for granted, right? Because we feel that, okay, we are here always. We are from that area, and then we know people, and then we never think in that way. But when we talk about things more in this connection, what it offers, and then especially when we come out of the area, and then we research more about those things, and especially the colleagues who were interested about Nepal, they have traveled to Nepal, and some good researcher, not only the scientific intention, I mean also the yeah, that everything can be connected to science, that's one part as well. I mean, like whoever has traveled to Nepal with their pure tourism intention, or for any educational or any other purposes, like some people are so good at researching things. I mean, they have traveled to the very farthest corners of Nepal and have known the facts that I didn't know before in my life, or maybe I have not realized that in that perspective, or I have ignored. That's how I say that. Now I become more aware of the things back in Nepal, or the resources, or the value, or that especially the innocence of the people, that I can always relate, that I always knew, that's for sure, that I never taken for granted, and I will never take it for granted, because that's the core value of me as well. And I tell you one special connection to my own life as well here, when I recall Nepal and the nature of Nepali people. At times, people ask me, wherever I am, even in Nepal or even outside of Nepal, people ask me, why do I smile or laugh without any reason, and why do I'm giving that kind of smile at that moment, special, like normal moment, and why I'm doing that. And then for that moment, I do not have answer. Did you get me? Because yeah, there is no reason to smile or laugh, but that's my nature. That's who I am, because I cannot be sad for a longer time, or I cannot. Yeah, I mean, I, I also do not know why do I smile, like to talk. Why do I smile to convey my natural gesture to people, to communicate? And but the more I try to understand, the more happier I become, because that's who I am, and that's what I do not want to change. That's what I do not want to lose, because that's the innocence I can always feel connected within myself, to the core of my heart, to the core of my existence. And I think that is something that I got it from Nepali community, or I think my parents who actually gave me that foundation. They told me that um, yeah, I have to be cheerful. I do not have to think much and worry things much about the things that I cannot control. Having said that, like we are natural human being, and we cannot be perfect. I do get stress. I do get anxiety attacks at times, especially with this research work that I'm carrying out since longer time. But yeah, I always think back how I am brought up, like how I'm given these values in my life, and I try to positify myself. I try to smile. I try to cheer myself, because I have understood the fact that no one can cheer me up unless I'm ready to cheer myself up, because that's the true thing. And that's why yeah, for sure, with my loved ones, yeah, with my family, yeah, with the people that I enjoy, I always seek for the help. I always seek for the support when I want to rejoice the moment, when I want to, yeah, get motivated, when I want to get encouraged. But at the end of the day, or at the end of the moment, when I need to reflect that, I tell to myself that, look, Amrita, these are the things you have heard, and these are the things we can actually connect with your thoughts. So let's do that. Let's not be sad. Let's not be pessimistic. Let's be optimistic. Let's do that the way you want, because you know whatever you do from your heart, from your mind, that's the way you want to do, because your pure heart and mind never tells you the wrong thing. Only when you get diverted, maybe you can think in a perspective that that's not right, or you can get carried away. But I really believe to the true God of our heart and mind, because I think, yeah, this spirituality, whatever we call God, like in any language, in any religion, that's the purity of heart, I feel. Because when we can listen to the purity of our heart and mind, that can never go wrong. And that's where you can actually get uplifted, whenever, wherever, the way you want. So that's the essence I always live with, and that's why I tell, this is the reason I never think of giving up. This is the reason I think, this is how giving up is not in the list of my goals. And there is one recent case in Nepal. There is a mountaineer. Maybe you've also heard about him from the news channel Nirmal Purza, and he has also recently brought up one adventurous film documentary in Netflix, and he has quoted that sentence or that particular feeling: "Giving up is not in our blood, sir," he says in that documentary. And that's actually we live in our life, especially being a person from that area, I think. And it's not only Nepali, or it's not only the people we feel connected. I my intention to talk about this, giving up is not in the list in my goals, or giving up is not in the list, giving up is not in the blood. It's the perspective. So there are people around the world who actually has got that feeling, and we need to always tell to ourselves that, yeah, what we actually believe, and that's when we can understand that, yeah, we do not want to give up. Yeah. And that's the core value I always want to live up.
And I'm sure as our listeners are leaning in, hearing your voice, they don't only hear the smile in your voice, but they must also imagine that sparkle in your eye that I'm seeing now sitting across from you here. And, there's this word I want to bring into the conversation now that came up a couple of times already. That is water.
Mm.
Water. And water is life, right?
Yes.
Water is everywhere. Water is part of us. We are water, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. Oh gosh, I'm getting so philosophical here, but you shared something with me that really made me pause. And I just want to read this to the listeners and let it sink in for them as well. Where you said about water is the key medium of many sufferings and solutions to deal with the real meaning of climate action. Now, we are here today to talk about your role within the international NGO Soroptimist, and their vision is that women and girls will achieve their individual and collective potential, realize aspirations, and have an equal voice in creating strong, peaceful communities worldwide. Something you just shared in your story is something you are so passionate about as well, right? So what is it, like the role of, and I wanted to draw out one of these sustainable development goals, although you're touching on many in your work, but SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. And overall, water, right? What is the role in all of this? How do you look at water? Yeah. Also in context with empowerment and equality.
Yeah, thank you so much, Regina, for this question. Yeah, this is exactly what I have been learning, what I have been doing, and what I intend to do for the rest of my life. Like, whatever I do, I want to connect things with water. And that's so natural because, as you said, I like that so much. We are water, the conscient in our body. When we think about the water that flows in our body, like in different forms, especially the blood and everything. And yeah, whatever we eat, whatever we drink, how we want to drive our life, without water nothing is possible, right? I mean, the percentage of water that we have in our body, the percentage of water we need to have intake, we need to intake every day. That's so natural, and that's so important, that's so vital. And though having said that, yeah, water is a natural resource that we cannot survive without. That's for sure. We all know that. And having said that, water is one of the resource, one of the cross-cutting issue, and one of the medium, as I already mentioned in in one of the forms, that it's also about the issues, it's also about the solutions. Because when we talk about the problems of pollution, water pollution, or when we talk about the problems of climate hazards, or like extreme events like flood risk or drought, or problems of mining, oil mining, or different kinds of problems that we address in the world, also the food insecurity, or like different sorts of problem, also energy crisis. So the different sorts of problem we talk in different in connection with different SDGs. It has to do with water, we cannot deny it, and also about the solution aspect, like when we talk about climate action, when we talk about the nexus, water, energy, food nexus, doing something remarkable in connection to that thing, and also protecting our nature-based solutions, also ecosystems services when we talk about. Then when we talk about disaster risk reduction, like the things that we talk about, the solutions, like we can talk for hours and hours on the issues and solution side as well. But to connect the work that we do in Soroptimist International, we basically believe in doing the works that's connected to SDG 4, 5, and 6. So, 4 is about the quality education, 5 is in gender equality, and 6 is, that's the core SDG goal we are talking right now, clean water and sanitation. And, saying my connection right now, you can also understand how connected these three SDG goals are. When we want to talk about the gender equality, equality cannot be happened in a proper way if we cannot process the value of education in our lives, in the system that we live in. And if we cannot provide the information or the understanding of natural resources, protecting it for the environment and our natural life, we cannot also provide the equality. So the gender goal, or the gender equality goal, at its core in our organization, Soroptimist International, these three things are so connected, and I'm so glad because as a person, I'm so passionate about advocating for equal rights. I do not say that only girls and women need to have the all the joy or all the success in life. I am saying, or like we, especially who talk about advocacy in gender equality, we tell, if we are true to this advocacy, we tell that there has to be equal rights, right? No less, no more. We want to have this world 50-50. That's why we've been talking planet 50-50. So nothing less, nothing more. We want to have this like equal, and to have this opportunity, or have the opportunities, solution, or anything that we can use in equal, or even the responsibility. Because when we talk about getting something, getting opportunity, or receiving something, we do not have to forget that what is our responsibility. So giving this equality in real sense of doing and like receiving this additional to SDG goals like SDG 4 and SDG 6. It's so interconnected, and then I always live by these values, because for me the core value is always about education. It doesn't have to be necessarily the formal education, like, or the degree education. Education for me, it means that when one is educated, he or she, or like in any gender these days, we also talk about, like, if you're not he or she, I mean the human being, or the person you are, you need to be aware of the things, and you need to understand, to differentiate between right and wrong, and you need to be modest, you need to be polite, you need to be forgiving, you need to be respectful. The core values that's connected to be a natural creature, and also to live, not only human beings, also the animals, the natural creature, also not the human animals, because the plants, they also have life. I mean, anything in existence that's all that has got life, and also without life, like understanding the aesthetic beauty of the things that's around us, like preserving the nature, for sure, the living creatures, and also maintaining the things that's around us, and that's so beautiful that I always think that's a core essence of education, understanding beyond the certification or beyond the degree. And water resources, SDG, clean water and sanitation, SDG 6. I'm glad that I chose this particular subject to drive my career, because I can easily say with my all smile and laugh, this is the subject where we can connect anywhere we go, whatever we talk, for any other cross-cutting issues or other SDGs that we have to drive, talking about issues and solutions. So I always feel good about the choices that I have in life, and especially when I talk about my presence and my goals for STZ. Sorry, the intention that I have, or the objectives that I have in Soroptimist International. I can proudly say that in this organization, we do not only say that we want equal rights, or we want to advocate for the girls and women to improve their lives, but we actually talk about how we can do it, why we want to do it, why it is important to talk about this advocacy. So we give the measurable values, we give the measurable methods, we give the things that people actually can replicate in their works, like working for the equal action. So I can always proudly say this is the organization. I work beyond my professional career, beyond my personal goals, and I'm happy to contribute my additional time to volunteer for this organization. And since one and a half year, or more than one and a half year, since 2020 October, I got chance to be the president of Soroptimist International Columba, and I must tell you, this is something so extraordinary experience that I am living right now. Yeah, it takes much effort and understanding. It can also be felt with my voice. It's not easy to take on the leadership role on in some of the organizations, especially in volunteering role or for the welfare organization. But it, as I always tell, and as I also informed you before, it gives something so natural in a feeling or the pleasure that we cannot receive that from any other monetary benefits or any other position that we are offered in other dimension. I meant, because this is the place where we can tell that we are actually making difference in the lives of people without thinking in specific for giving getting something back in some value, like for sure, I mean, values for sure, our happiness, joy, for that kind of satisfaction, but not something that one can be bothered especially when we talk about financial things or other, because without getting paid, if one can do this kind of work in unconditional situation at times, because at times it becomes really hard to invest your ideas, to invest your time, to invest your efforts in volunteering works, and to lead that in certain dimension. Sometimes it becomes complicated, crucial, but at the same time, it teaches you so much, and it gives you something so different as a person to learn, to understand, to act upon. Yeah, sometimes maybe I cannot explain it in my words. Maybe I will keep on realizing it, I can keep on reacting to it in my action, to my vision, so that I can actually say people that yeah, that's how I'm living, that's how I'm trying to make some impact, because this is something to eternity, this is something, infinity, that one can do always and like forever. And that's a feeling so precious to me. And sometimes people tell me that, like, why do you invest so much time in this form of volunteering work, or in this form of the things that you're not getting paid, because that's actually taking your time, that's actually taking your efforts. And people don't demotivate me much, that they don't say me that don't get engaged. They tell me that you need to make a good balance of the time, and also how do you manage. I totally respect, I totally understand, appreciate, especially my family members are concerned, or my close colleagues, or the people who actually, yeah, know me, or who would like to see me happy or to be successful. So they tell me often that I need to balance my timing. I totally understand that. And right now, being a president of Soroptimist International Kuala Lumpur, I try to definitely balance my time working giving more focus to my personal well-being, my physical health, my mental health, and then comes my family goals, and then comes the people I care for, and then comes my professional goals, what I want to do, what I want to achieve in my career for sure. And then I should be giving time for this the work that we do in volunteer organization right now, what we are achieving, or what we want to achieve with the projects that we do. I try to move that way, giving priority in that order. But yeah, you can also understand, I think you've also experienced that in your life. While you do something from your heart, it becomes so crucial to differentiate the priority at times. But yeah, I have to remind myself many times that yeah, this is the order I have to follow. And I have been also learning these things over my presidency period. Why I'm quoting this presidency again and again? Because I have been realizing so much these days. One cannot tell about certain position, one cannot tell about certain struggles or achievements unless you're in that position, or unless you're living that life. Because before, if I was thinking about somebody who is in prior leadership position, about his or her struggles, or about that person's struggle or achievements, or sometimes we just see the materialistic, or like the outer happiness, or outer position, or the outer power. But one cannot understand at times how hard it is to manage inside, covering all that, yeah, problems inside, managing all the crisis inside. Sometimes you have to take decisions, not knowing exactly what you have to do. You have to promptly take the decisions with your inner values. And then that's the time when you learn things. Okay, this is the way I could do as well. So understanding your own efforts, or understanding your own strength, and at times it also gives you the point where you can understand your weakness. And that's beautiful, because no one in this world is perfect, or immortal, or immune to pain or something, because we are the human beings, especially living creatures. We get pains, we get hurt, we get struggles, and we get high moments, we get low moments. So at times I have also realized that everything not everything is not in our hand, and everything cannot be corrected right away over the maybe time, counts of days, or the hours, or the weeks. Because for certain things to move on, for certain things to create some change, actual change in the ground, or actual change in the lives of people, actual change in the organizational structure, it takes time. And we need to be passionate enough to give that time to ourselves, to our team, and to the work that we are actually doing. And it has also understanding our limitations, understanding our weakness, understanding the basic aspects or requirement of the things that we do. Actually, it strengthens our capacity. And that's why I always tell, like, challenges, opportunities, challenges, possibilities in life, or the pain, or the happiness, the struggles, or the challenges, and then the achievements that we can have in our life. It's all interconnected. One cannot understand about the brighter side or the sunshine unless that person can think about the maybe dull times, or the actual power of the moon or the moon time, because like sun and moon, when we talk about in different aspects, or the dark times, or the right times, or like bright times, it's also interconnected. One need to understand the core values of both sides so that we can actually implement it in our life. Sometimes I really become emotional while I talk about the core values I live with. When I talk about what I really want to do in my life, in my profession, as a person, as a family member, like the relations that I live with, like I become really emotional because I think that's what I feel from my heart. I want to be natural. I want to be real, and maybe yeah some years ago, when people would tell me why do I become emotional, or why do I talk a lot on certain things, or why do I connect with people so easily, or like all the things that's connected to my extrovert nature, and all the things that's connected to my emotional nature. At times I would ask myself, or at times I might have regretted when I was not knowing the actual power it has got, like especially in my childhood, my early teen age, or like my I mean, I don't say that I'm mature enough to understand everything now, but definitely I understand more than before. When people were telling me about the bad consequences of being emotional, consequence of uh, yeah uh, uh, that one can suffer being extrovert, or like opening up our heart, or like these things and that thing, I would ask myself much before. But the more I have traveled to different parts of the world, the more I am getting connected to different people, get chance to understand their way of living, I become more happier the way I am, the nature I have got, the extrovert nature, the emotional nature, because it is actually making me natural and real, that I can actually work very efficiently for the things I would like to do in my career. In the volunteer in the organizations, doesn't matter, it has to be volunteer or like any other forms, like whatever I do in my personal life or professional, it gives me that confidence. So I do not want to change myself. I do not want to change actually this kind of settings that we do in in our organizational context as well. So yeah, I can talk for hours and hours on these topics. So you need to stop me where I have to stop.
It's really profound what you shared, and thank you for the honesty, because we actually are just celebrating 5 years of hashtag impact, and the very first interview we did was with an organization that empowers everyone to volunteer. Shout out to Hands On Hong Kong here in Hong Kong. They're doing great work, and that does come up, why do you volunteer? What does it bring you in your life? But of course, also, there is a limitation as well of how much we can give. And I think it's really important what you just said about you need to also make sure you take care of yourself, right? You need to make sure there's this reference of put your oxygen mask on first. And it's so important. And I think this is something that a lot of people will nod their head now, because I think what brings them to hashtag impact, listening to our stories, is they want to give and they want to make an impact. But the important reminder I think we needed to hear was what you just gave us. And that doesn't mean we're not passionate about our work and about volunteering and about doing this and about, amazing work with Soroptimist. It just makes it more empowered, And I actually am so curious, because how did you even get involved? How did you first hear about Soroptimist? Because I I believe you first started with the volunteering for the organization or becoming aware of it in 2011 in Nepal.
Yes.
How did that even unfold?
That's so nice to recall that moment. Actually, thank you again for this question. Yes, I can vividly recall that moment when we started to talk about the existence of Soroptimist International in the world. And I must tell to myself, I was fortunate enough to get that connection at that time, because if I didn't hear, or if I had no chance to get connected at that time, it might have taken so many years to get connected with this very beautiful initiative, or very meaningful initiative. Yeah, definitely there are so many organizations who are actually working in the common goals, but like, yeah, I got that foundation in my early age to start with, so for that I'm really thankful. And in 2011, that was so fresh year after my graduation in engineering, Bachelor of Engineering. Actually, I got graduated in 2010. And I think in between 2010 and 11, we started to think more about, yeah, how do we utilize our education, our career vision in something so meaningful for the community. Me and my some of my colleagues, we used to talk, yeah, time and often. It might be the case because as a young professional, as a young engineer in our sector, and being a woman, being a, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can call girl at that time. I still can girl to myself. I'm just making fun of this tone, girl and woman, these words. Yeah, at that time, wherever we went with our professional goals, or like what we had to act upon in our family, like being in that yeah, particular environmental situation, we were reminded many times that you're a girl, you're a woman, you have to this, you have to this way, certain things you should be doing this way, you should not be doing that. You can imagine, like, even after my education, like in that way, the way I could understand how my capacity can be brought up with the, yeah, with this information around the world and everything. But I was constantly getting reminded from, yeah, from the at times from extended family members, or from the so-called society, we say, or the community around us, that I have to be mindful to get back to home in early time, or like, yeah, I need to be mindful to understand whom I am getting surrounded with, especially for the girls, because people think that when we get along with, like, especially a male colleague of ours, they would definitely bring it back to the home and then start to make gossips, right? So I'm bringing these issues here because as a as a person who is trying to thrive in their career, it gives so much of stress at times, because you are doing something very efficient, or very focused work in your job, or something that it takes time, it takes some kind of communication, networking. Then people start to talk in community that you should not be acting that way, you should be mindful of your behavior, of your smile. Even people would tell me that I should not be smiling to somebody, like laughing to in some yeah, like group discussion or something. So yeah, I don't say it was we are getting tired, but yeah, actually we, yeah, I can say that we were sad and tired at the same time, like getting all these instructions, also in personal life and professional lives. And then one particular instance I also mentioned you informally before, that a girl who was curious about my presence in particular field work in one of the rural areas of my country with the male colleagues. I was the only female engineer at that instance. And then, yeah, to my surprise, now when I recall again that time, yeah, I'm still in awe of that moment, because that has driven me in a different yeah, advocacy direction till now. That particular moment, I have also described that in one of the articles that I have written for Soroptimist International. that collie, that particular small girl, was surprised to know that I'm one of the engineers in that project, and I'm working together with them. This is not this might not be the case right now, in the rural areas, because the globalization has actually given this opportunity to understand the possibilities around the world. This is also the beauty of digitization, beauty of internet accessibility. Yeah, the globalized world that we can say proudly. That's the beauty. But I'm talking the case, yeah, more like before a decade. So we can imagine like the evolution that we have about digitization, this globalization, much in this decade time later on. But at that time, when there were limited resources, I think people in farthest corners of the world in my country, they still lack adequate information. So I do not say that all people, all girls, they know what they can become in this time, in this hour right now. I doubt, because that might not be the case. But when I recall that particular instance, where that girl was surprised about my presence, about my professional achievement, about how did I become the part of that group. She was surprised to know that one girl or one woman can actually be that person. For me, it doesn't have to be doctor, engineer, or lawyer, or politician, or anything, or like manager or anything. One can actually, even artist, and like any goals or any professional targets one can have in their life. But the important thing is that one need to be free to dream. A dream of a person cannot be limited. And that's where it got me scared at that time. It got me surprised at that time. And then I asked to myself, I was privileged enough to be born in the family, to be born in that city, to be born in that environment where I was given the proper education, where I was given the proper opportunities, possibilities to think for my dream, to think for my career. Because no one could tell me that I should not be studying this or that. That's the most important thing I think I have given. I have received in my life. Because yeah, no one can actually take that right of a person to be educated. So that's not happening in the world right now, and that's why we tell that every individual need to get a chance to be educated, like any way, any form. Because that's when you start to explore the beauty of the world, the possibilities in the world, the possibilities actually within yourself. That's a whole world you can create from yourself. So a world starts from you. I mean, world starts from the vision that you take from your heart, or it takes from your action. So that particular moment when I realized that the dream of a particular person, particular girl, was being limited, that made me a bit sad, a bit surprised, a bit restless, yeah, a bit yeah, confused. So many emotions came at that time. And I can still recall clearly that particular moment when I didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to take up on that. But maybe that was a reason. Slowly I started to understand that this is not the thing that I become happy of who I am or what I have achieved in my professional education, or professional goals. This is something I have a responsibility as a person. Doesn't matter, a man or woman. Every individual has got their own goals, or a responsibility in life, to give something back to the community from where they are. Doesn't matter if even if you're not from that community, you can always give back for this world. I mean, for the area that you choose to give back, for the area that you choose to contribute something. The pure intention is needs to be there. That's the important thing. And that's how you start to explore the real you, how you've got that capacity within yourself. So this feeling, yeah, is being multiplied each single time when I am doing some work in my professional task, and trying to connect something that I become very happy. And getting to your exact question of when I did start to become a Soroptimist, like how did I get involved in Soroptimist International? Yeah, that particular instance already, yeah, created that fire, ignited that fire inside me, and I'm glad that it actually, yeah, happened at that time. And within some months, I think I was thinking about that, and yeah, to my benefit, as a person of that particular family and community, I was also given some other opportunities in my life to be active in the community campaign, community work. So for me, it was not so hard to decide upon some something that I can create with the team, or something that we can build together, because I used to see my parents, my mother, my father doing something for the community in community roles, like they were having some I mean, in a team they were working, giving their extra time for the community works in some organization, additional volunteering work. So I think, yeah, um, there is so much that we can learn from parents, because how we see our parents, how we see our family members, how we see our community doing things, that actually gets inside our interest, inside our vision so easily, so we can actually reflect on that easily, or like it becomes easy for us. So that's when I again I mean, that's the point when I once heard about the existence of Soroptimist International. It didn't take much of my time to decide that that's the place I want to work for, because that was so clear that the organization was doing tremendous work, like remarkable works around the world, and there was no such special yeah, chapter, or the particular existence of that organization in our country, though there are so many other organizations I might not be aware of at that time. But for me, the resources were limited at that time, and I was it was fortunate time, I can say. And then I still become glad to recall that time, because being a Soroptimist started that campaign, that initiative since 2020, since 2011, and the time when we got chance to be chartered in 2012. Since then, my life had changed in various possible ways, or various in various dimension. I can say that it has given me tremendous opportunities, remarkable moments in my life, in my career, in my professional goals, in my personal yeah, targets, like understanding life and the change that we can make, yeah, as a person, as a professional, in various dimensions. So I think that one organization, doesn't matter like which particular topic or theme it takes forward, the essence of that particular organization, the objective, it has to be very clear, so that one can actually can connect to the different other dimension that can bring change. So yeah, you just my particular message, or particular learning that I can share, maybe with younger ones, or even to the people who are in their senior age. It doesn't take uh, so many organizations to look through. It doesn't take so much time. It doesn't take so much of effort or anything. It just take your pure intention to be part of something very meaningful, to be part of something very focused to the core values of community, something that actually making some change, making some impact, hashtag impact, again getting back to this topic. So this is where you need to be very clear and pure, and that's all that we need to know, and we need to work.
Yeah, and I think what makes this work of Soroptimist International so intriguing, and I want to really encourage our listeners to start following the channels, for example, on Instagram, Soroptimist Global. I'm already following. It is so incredibly like essential, global, uniting, empowering. I loved what I found on the Instagram channel around the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. This was in February 2022, now posted recently on the Soroptimist Global Instagram channel, where there's a representative from the Nairobi chapter sharing her thoughts on that. And it's, all that you just shared, and you're living and breathing that, right? You as a woman in science, in STEM subjects, there is your fellow volunteer colleague saying, it is essential to have more women undertake training and learning in STEM subjects, including water supply management. Water is the driver and enabler of sustainable development, and access to clean drinking water determines how individuals and communities plan and shape their future. Women's contribution and leadership is the key. And that's your leadership as well, Amrita. That's how I really want to remind our listeners of. I loved how you put that. Like, you're seeing, we started off with your bio and we're seeing all these references to what you do. But now when we heard your story, I think we understand all the facets and the colors and the ups and downs and the in-betweens between it all, where I hope now, as you listen, you feel inspired to look for that for yourself as well, right? And that actually sends me to our quick fire round. Although I would love to continue our conversation, and we will, Amrita, right? I mean, we will continue our conversation. But I want to give the listeners, first of all, the opportunity to start following Soroptimist. Where do you think should people do that best? Where can we send them to?
Yes, they can always Google the word Soroptimist International. They can find the website, and in all social media channel, professional and normal ones, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, we are all around with Soroptimist International, the global, the main international one. And we are more than 130 countries, so you can actually scroll the chapter in your own land. Maybe you're already a part of it. You would like to be part of it. So you've got tremendous information. I mean, you get tremendous information once you contact this Soroptimist nearby your home place or nearby your neighborhood. So we never know how it is connected to your life.
So that's an invitation to you. And of course, if you're in Cologne, you're gonna be in Amrita's chapter. So check that one out. Particularly, shout out, of course, to all of the chapters globally. But let me give a very warm shout out to the chapter in Sweden as well, because my mother-in-law is also a very passionate supporter of the work of Soroptimist. And actually, she introduced me to the work to begin with already many years ago. To be frank, I've been following the journey, and I'm so grateful that we have now had this conversation so that I could understand even more about the people that make it, because in the end, that is the people that are volunteering, that are showing up, that are defining and living and breathing the values of what they put out in the world. So, Amrita, thank you for inspiring me so much with this. And that brings me to a question that for sure you will have some quick answers to. Are you ready? Making an impact means
bringing some change.
Who inspires you in the way they tackle the sustainable development goals?
The true drivers in the society, the people actually working in the ground, grassroots level people.
And what could everyone do right now to make the world a better place?
Actually, that's a very important point. Just don't think too much. Just try to do the work efficiently from your own point of, your own point, your own place. If it has to be a sustainable practice of using, using the things like less use of the plastic, less pollutants that you can put outside of your home, even making compost out of your garbage, of trying in the work to bring it something sustainable in the refining of the materials, or even the way you dress up, try to choose sustainable choices. So the way you want to work, try to select the organizations that you would like to contribute for, and yeah, try to bring some change wherever you can. The way you eat, the way you breathe, the way you touch any resource or to use any resource, that's all come with our daily activities. Like whether you are at home, whether you are at your office, whether you are at the street, you can become sustainably aware, and you can actually contribute for the sustainable development goals so easily. You just have to be mindful of the basic things you have to do right way. So that's the basic thing we need to understand. And it's so easy to minimize the pollution, to minimize the climate consequences, to actually work for climate action, to actually work for sustainable practice, to actually work for something that become so easy to control, manage, for the activities that actually make this world a better place to live in. Because it doesn't come when one, it doesn't come just about thinking and talking. It comes with our activities, right? And if every individual thinks in a way that he or she, or like the person, can bring that particular thinking into action in a sustainable way, it's not hard. We just need to understand. And one final answer, I'm making this answer too long, but I want to connect even to the practice, because it's also connected to Soroptimist and the STZ that we are talking. Sometimes people tell and ask, like, how do I contribute on a water topic or climate action topic, and how do I actually work in some certain particular project, and then how do I bring some project or create some project. And sometimes it's so easy to look through, because when you are a professional, or when even you are a homemaker, when you are a very normal person doing very normal work in your daily lives, you can see the example around you and try to connect something professional, if it's like available from your side. Connect your profession to the work that's that organization do. When I'm giving the example of Soroptimist International, right? Try to connect. If you're a business person, if you're a politician, if you're a community builder, if you're a environment activist, if you're a water engineer, like for me, I can give example, because being a water engineer, being a civil engineer, I have received so many opportunities to voice out, to present my work, to connect the real projects of water and climate action to the work that we do in Soroptimist International. One a very concrete example I can give: in 2020, when Soroptimist International, together with Women for Water Partnership, got a project from Stockholm Water Institute, Environment Institute, to make a series of conference in the topic of women, water, and climate. At that time, I also applied for that particular call, and then I am glad that the project of my ongoing research in Nepal, drink pani, because drink pani is one of the initiative out of my ongoing research. Like that's that I am glad that I founded together with my research interns, and that's being evolved each single day in the context of Nepal. I mean, we got selected to be one of the 8 projects who can present that in the series of conference. And if you're curious, you can click on the drink pani in women, water, and climate, tackling the challenges topic in YouTube. It's all available there with our series of conference. And at that time, it gave us great opportunity to be connected with the people who are trying to do the similar things in other parts, other areas, also in other parts of our Asian community, and also like beyond Asian community, and also in European context. I was asked, or like we were asked, various questions that how we can actually connect our work in similar dimension. And that particular support or particular opportunity, though we've been doing similar context in other dimension as well, but that particular opportunity, particular visibility in connection with Soroptimist International Women for Water Partnership gave so much of confidence to the young water volunteers who are working in the grassroots in the context of Nepal, where I'm doing research. So with this message, I'm trying to tell people that just look out for the things that you can do very easily in the community, because no one is outside of the community. Every individual is connected to certain community, certain the grassroots works that they can actually look for. So because whatever we tell in the global platforms or in global dimension, it has to come from the grassroots work, because even the Secretary General of United Nations, or maybe the popular or the high power presidents of the world, when they talk about the power or the management or the administration of managing this world, they can talk only when the projects, when the works actually in the real ground are working fine. They cannot talk in that high level dimension if the works are not working fine in the grassroots level or in the ground. So this acting or working in the grassroots level and making global impact is so important. Act local, impact global. So that's what we can always do as a normal person, as a normal professional. And when we talk about Soroptimist International and connecting it to SDG 4, 5, and 6, you always get opportunity to connect your profession. As I'm giving the example of Drink Pani, that I am thriving more because it gives me reason to be more connected. So that this is just example I'm giving, because I'm always trying my best to connect my ongoing research, my professional work that I do, and the values I live with. So it becomes so easy to work forward, and you never get time to regret about the things that you do, because you don't have to regret when you're doing from your heart something that you really cherish for your life.
That is so encouraging for myself. First of all, you just reaffirming that for me, and for all of you listening as well. I think that's just a good reminder that I think we needed to hear now, that you don't even have to reinvent the wheel, right? You don't have to dig out something, look for something forcefully, like, how am I going to make an impact now? Actually start with where you're at now, and there is probably something already right there for you. And with what you just said, I think you helped me to connect the dots. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much for this special, wonderful opportunity, because yeah, it's always one aspect to think work, and I am realizing now more and more to voice out, to share the stories to people out there, because at times no, we never know how one can get encouraged, impacted, or inspired from someone's work or from someone's example, because I do listen to different stories through YouTube channel, postcast, or different channels of media and communication, and I do get inspired every single day with different stories. I read through, I hear through, I see through. So the same feeling I want to share to people, what I am doing, what we are doing as a community, as professionals. So it's all about exchange. Let's get inspired by each other's work. And to be so honest, Regina, when I see your post, when I see the podcast, impact podcast that you upload, the stories you share in different social media channels or the website that I look through, I get so motivated. And I do text you out of my motivation at times. I do text you how encouraged I feel at that particular instance when I hear and see those things. So yeah, I always say the thing about exchanging, the power of exchange. It makes you only better. It gives you the better version of yourself, ourselves. So let's keep encouraging each other. Let's keep sharing the things that we can do to be happy and to be content.
Absolutely. Let's do that. And with big smiles. Yeah. Both of us. Are we like the most smiley people in the world? I don't know. I think we rank in the top 10.
Okay.
Amrita, I think, yeah, we
Yeah.
are right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why it matches.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to see you at our next, hashtag Impact Coffee Club break, when the coffee break, virtual coffee break, when that we're doing with all our guests and listeners, when time difference allows, because I know that's often challenging as well. But it's an honor and a privilege to have had this conversation and to have you in our community. Thank you so much. And
Yeah. Thank you so much
thanks to all
again.
of you for listening.
Yeah. We will talk very soon again.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And please don't forget, you are not alone in this. If you want to make your own impact, or if you just want to explore what making an impact means to you, join us at hashtagimpact.com/club. Your membership helps us to keep this production going and growing. Talk to you soon. Bye.